Hello, viewers. Welcome to HCMguru. That's a portal for industry speakers to share their views and thoughts. Allow me to welcome on today's session Mr. Jaswanth Sharanarthy. He himself is an engineer and brings a lot of experience in learning and development industry. At present, Mr. Sharanarthy is heading learning and development, organization development, as well as channel development in one of the very known organization, Cavinkare. Welcome, Mr. Sharanarthy. Uh, Thanks for joining in. We're very happy and glad to have you with us on HCM Guru.
Thanks, Bharat. Thank you, firstly, to be invited. I'm humbled and honored to be invited by GCube. So I'm glad that I'm to be invited. I get to speak about what we think as part of the industry.
So today we all are talking about how employees' motivation in a remote working environment post-pandemic situation. And I believe being a learning and development expert, where we always talk about learning as one of the important factors to keep employees motivated. Please share your views how learning and development plays a critical role in keeping employees motivated in a remote working environment.
Okay, thanks, Bharat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share, the insights from my own organization. I think that will help viewers as well as people, industry veterans who are looking at this video. We're very glad to say that we were digital ready even before the lockdown started. So that's one advantage which we had. Call it as a boon. The reason is because the open culture which our organization has and the flexibility of making the right decision at the right time and making sure very quick with less of a hierarchy, flat organization or structure in the organization. So all these things helped us in creating a digital ready organization, especially with respect to learning at a very earlier than when COVID happened. So fortunately, we were kind of digital ready with respect to the learning space all put together. So we had things in place, we had platforms in place, we had processes in place, we had systems in place, because of which we were easily we easily adapted to this situation. What COVID forced us to. Now, coming to how the learning really helped the employees to be motivated with respect to the remote working. Like I said, we onboarded on a learning experience platform quite well before the COVID started. Which the learning experience platform, I'm sure most of the veterans in the learning and development arena would know what it is all about. So it's a kind of a revolution which does in terms of like choosing our own learning path, individualized or very specific learning path for each and every one of us, regardless of where you belong to and what you belong to. So it gives a very clear learning path for each and everybody, depending on the competency gaps, what you are, what you have, or what we've arrived at for each and every individual. So of course that is helping people in terms of motivating themselves by creating their own personalized learning path and going through their learning so that the competency gaps are closed. But from the LXP, we also have very detailed, a very calendar which does a VILT, which is virtual instructor-led training. Apart from that, we also have a couple of initiatives like Mindflix, CK Mindflix, which is like how a person can share the learnings of what he or she has done over the LXP or over VILT, anything that matters to the closest members of the community or of our organization. So by this we create the power of shared brains which comes in, so that there is a compelling a good amount of knowledge which is imbibed by people who listen and also people who share it.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Jaswanth, for sharing your thoughts. And you rightly mentioned features and strategies like giving personalized learning, having systems and applications in place to do virtual onboarding swift, as well as recognizing people through mechanisms like R&R or gamifications. LXP, where people get certain suggestions around, definitely keeps every individual, every employee stick to their training interventions. So thank you so much for sharing those views, and definitely the way you have added a lot of interesting strategies, making employees motivated through this remote working is really commendable. Now, let's talk about FMCG industry, since Cavinkare is one of the known organization and brand when it comes to FMCG. When we typically think about any FMCG organization or the related products, quality is something which comes on top of our mind. And we, as a learning and development function, always ensure that our people, our employees are trained well so that we adhere to quality processes, quality standards, while it's been auditory purposes or it's been compliance or entirely into the complete product supply chain. So please share your thoughts around how training, how learning and development is one of the important driver to maintain the quality standards.
Okay, so this again, this goes back quite a time back. When we went along to do with the visioneering exercise to come out with a new vision of the organization, mission of the organization, goal of the organization. So one piece which very evidently came out is for us to work out on our manufacturing excellence. And so manufacturing excellence obviously starts with the quality as the forefront and as the centerpiece of it. So yeah, we're looking at various quality systems to be upticked on and bring in a lot of processes in terms of how we can make our products as well as the manufacturing excellence to be in a much better space is something which we are looking at, Bharat.
And yes, I completely understand and agree with you that quality is the most important aspect when it comes to any FMCG industry. Now, our viewers would like to also know about what are the trends. We are sitting in 2020, and typically we talk about learning experience platforms coming in place, or learning management systems are going towards more performance driven learning. So according to you, what are those trending insights where learning industry is going towards, and we can see in next 5 years with the shape of learning and development industry when it comes to learning technologies, self-paced learning, performance-driven learning, and so on and so forth?
So which is predominantly coming up these days is I think you already quoted that which is more to do with personalized learning because each and every individual is quite unique by itself, right? So obviously one individual is completely different from another individual, right? So the ability of the be it knowledge or skill or for that matter attitude, whatever we take an example of communication skills or anything for that matter. I'm just being very taking a basic skill of a person, which is communication skill. So it completely differs from what I am to what you are, Bharat. So obviously. The input what we give also should match to the requirement of the gap of each and every individual. So obviously personalized learning paths are making a very revolutionary what do you say, a revolutionary thought process within the learning arena. So definitely, that's something which everybody needs to harp on because that is going to give a kind of a solution to the needs of the employees, true needs of the employees is what I would put. The second thing what is going to help is, how digital is going to transform the culture of the organization. We're all, in the arena of training, and we all train people and things like that. So we all make a lot of cue from 80% of the body language more than the computer. This virtual world, a lot of organizations are promising that they're going to go permanent work from home. So how is that? Especially we as trainers, should look at the percent of the non-verbal communication as a cue in terms of taking how we moderate our learning, how we should moderate our design of training, how we should start delivering training. So these are certain things which is completely missing at this point of time with respect to work. So in case some primary research is done on that, and if we get some solution for that, I think that's going to be definitely that's going to be a game changer the training and development arena, Bharat.
Interesting. You have touched a very interesting point. And in fact, a lot of industry speakers, industry people are talking about we transformed the complete training methodology from a face-to-face intervention to a virtual learning or a virtual classroom trainings, where an important aspect comes from what is my motivation level or what is my interest level on the other side. So some technology should be a next big thing while we be able to look at the motivation level of the learner while on a virtual environment. So that's a very interesting topic to talk about. So we keep talking about these strategies, these motivation levels in a virtual environment. What do you want to share for your peers of other organizations specific to FMCG industry, and what has worked well for you in last 6 to 8 months during pandemic situation, which they might want to incorporate and might be helpful for your colleagues working in other organization? What would be that 2-3 mantras or points which you want to share from your experience?
First, the first mantra, I'm sure most of you would be doing this. The first mantra is a very, very intricate and very intimate, employee connect which we are trying to create within the organization, right? So that's very, very important because the emotions are literally high, across the employees, owing to a personal situation, owing to a professional situation, owing to the distance which is being created. Though we all sit to and see each other, there's a beautiful world, you sitting wherever you are and me sitting wherever I am, but we're communicating, seeing each other. I think there's a beautiful world which has got into this, to this level of technology, easiness in terms of technology and discussions. So definitely it's a boom, but of course it's created a lot of distance between people to people, right? So how do we create that connect and give them the comfort feel that everything is fine, touch upon? We are trying to do that. We are attempting to get that straightened up for our employees, definitely. Second point is how easily do we make them understand with respect to any kind of if we look at a productivity tool, or if we look at any kind of a tool to make sure the time maintained, or time which is taken for employees to work or something like that. So how well we should make them understand that this is nothing to nothing much to do with respect to policing the employees, or making them fear about what is going to happen next if at all they find something not right with my way of working. The study of making sure how employees work and how we can distribute the resources and how we can distribute the workforce, how we can distribute the time, everything, so that there is a equilibrium which gets maintained across the organization. That's the second point. And the third point is obviously how we can give them the comfort of handling new technologies. Okay, because obviously now in the days to come we are going to come up with a lot of new technologies to make sure the distance, be it even the virtual, to make it very, very closer. So while coming up with a new technology, what ease do we make them understand that this technology is to make sure that it creates a closeness between the employee and the management, or for that matter HR and the HR and the employees, or for that matter peer to peer, anything for that matter. So how do we create that communication? So communication is the important piece.
So you have touched base on employee connect, you have touched base on communication and how technology brings hands-on environment for people to do better, and definitely in this virtual environment, trusting your employees is another very important aspect of how an organization can help keeping their employees motivated in virtual environment. On this note, I would like to thank you, Mr. Jaswanth Sharanarthy, for your time and views to share with all our viewers. Please keep in touch and keep sharing, keep learning. Thank you once again for your time.